Roadhouse.
Good evening, everybody. This is Crazy Chris from Geek Public Radio. With me here is Jimmy Chin from Prizm Games. He's actually the creator, one of the creators of the Playtable, which we had discussed earlier with all of you. If you guys checked out our podcast, that was something that we were going to check out. So I managed to grab him from his busy schedule and drag him over here. He's going to give us a quick little rundown of everything. So, Jimmy, what is the company and what is the product?
So you can hold on to that. So our company is Prizm Labs, and we're building Playtable, which is the world's first board game console. And imagine having 1,000 games in a single device that you can play. Imagine those games being able to play. You can teach easier. You can learn. You can discover, and all those things that come with digital. So it's like a digital interactive tabletop. And the great thing about Playtable is the fact that it actually works with physical pieces like cards, dice, figurines, even your mobile phone when it comes to holding a private hand. So really, we've built Playtable to be a truly social experience that really replicates and honors the board game experience, because we know the fun of board games is, yes, part of it is the games, but 90% of it is really the people that you play with, right? And that's really a big part of what we try to do with the technology. So we're not necessarily a technology company. We're we're in the business of really creating fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay. So what gave you really the idea for the Playtable? What caused you guys to just go, hey, you know what would be awesome? An interactive board game, a virtual board game. What gave you that idea?
So I've been playing, this game called Settlers of Catan. I don't, it's only a game that some of the people.
Yeah, like I have no idea what that game is. Like, what is that?
Idea, right? I've been playing that for about 10 years now, ever since I was in high school, and I've just been kind of obsessed with being able to customize these tiles, and in some ways I think as a board game geek, you start realizing that. When you play a board game, you also want to extend the experience and, create your own story around board games, right?
Definitely.
And that's really how it evolved, from putting LEDs inside of, these Catan tiles all the way to, making a giant LCD screen. And, from there, as I was running a hardware company, I realized that, oh my gosh, like I can do this as a side project and see what happens. And it just so happened that this little side project grew up into something enormous when I showed it off to friends and when I showed it off to my gamer friends.
That's awesome.
And, and I think that's, to me, really, really fortunate, and I feel so lucky to be here just because I think, in some ways, people are, people are praising me and people are, giving me a ton of money to build what I love, right? And so, in some ways, I'm building this for myself, but it's, and I think, and I'm so happy to be able to share this with everyone.
All right, and that's excellent. And like I had a chance to check out the Prizm or the Playtable yesterday, and I got to play with it a little bit, and I was very impressed. It was a very sound system, very responsive, and I think that our audience and our listeners out there and our viewers out there are really going to have a good time with this system. And ultimately, I can get that impression from you. That's ultimately, I think, what you want people to do is walk away from this going, man, that's such a great idea, and I had so much fun to do that. So we're going to go a little personal, if you don't mind, for just a second, Jimmy. So how old are you, Jimmy?
I'm 27 years old.
27. So an engineer, you've created basically your own video game console. Let's just call it that for a second. And you're an engineer. You created your own video game console, and you're creating this board game. I'm going to call it a board game empire. I like that. You're creating a board game empire right now. So that's pretty impressive. Are you married, Jimmy?
No, I'm not.
Single. Jimmy's single.
I do have a girlfriend though, so.
Oh, you could have left that part out. Like.
I could have.
No, I'm sure she would be very upset if you did. So. Well, that's awesome. So how long have you been a gamer in general?
Since I was 10 years old.
10 years old.
Yeah, I mean, been playing games all my life, and in high school, I was introduced to Settlers of Catan by my high school statistics teacher, and he's this guy from Germany. So go figure, and that's so interesting for me, especially because when I started realizing, when it comes to board games in some ways are part of storytelling.
Right.
It's really, you go over to Jack's house, Jack teaches you a game, you share that, you love that experience so much that you go buy the game, you share it with 4 other people,
Right.
and those 4 people share with more people, and I think that's a big part of why board games in some ways are timeless, and I think it's a great way for people to get together and really create cherished memories, and it's so much more than just being able to play a game.
Right. And I saw the play table. Like I said, I got to play with it a little bit, and it is such a great size for like a kitchen table for families to get together and actually be able to play this system. So I think that it's really going to do a good job with maintaining that social element and that interactive element, and still be new age enough to appeal to the younger audiences as they're growing up. It's definitely something I think they're going to get a hold of and just love. And I'm very impressed with it. I really am. I can't stop gushing. Like I'm sitting here, I'm like, oh, we're the creator game. It's so awesome. My sound guy back there, he's just looking at me like, yeah, dude, you gotta calm down. All right, so we do appreciate it. I got one more question for you. So far, Jimmy, what has been your favorite part of the con outside, of course, of a play table?
So my favorite part is really coming here. This is my first Gen Con, you know, and for me, I walked in, and the sort of the first thing that I remember vividly was just how many board games there are, and sort of the variety and the sort of you know, all the different textures, all the different kind of people that are involved. And for me, I think that's that's such a wonderful thing, because that's really what I love about, you know, going to cons like this. It's like it's in some ways it's an expression of everyone in the world almost, right? Like you don't have to like every game that exists out there, and all these games are so eclectic, and you know there's like different themes, different things that you can participate in, and there's something for everyone, and that's just what's so wonderful about it. And that's, I think that's sort of relates back to, for me, the creator, being the creator of Playtable. I think it's so compelling, because I think it sort of shows that, hey, like you might not necessarily think that you might like a game, or you might think it might not be for you, but when you get to know somebody, they teach you a game, all of a sudden the game becomes fun, not because of the game being this specific theme or whatever. It's more like it's because you enjoy playing with the people that you play with. And I think that's what's so special about something like this. And that's, for me, that's the number one thing that I'm going to take away from Gen Con.
Right. Excellent. Well, welcome to your first Gen Con, by the way. Jimmy, I appreciate you coming out. Is there a way for people to keep track of Prizm games on Facebook or Twitter or anything like that?
Yeah, so you can, so absolutely, yeah. So you can go over to our website, playtable.xyz, and you can enter your email. We'll keep you updated on the different things that are going on. Yes, like it's going to take a little bit of time for this to come out, just because it's electronics and it's there's a lot of moving parts in the business. But we're so excited just because we have a lot of supporters. We have an email list of over 100,000 people that are just kind of clamoring for a device like this. And I think the market wants it. There's a community and an industry that wants this, right? And I think we really feel that like that support really helps as a part of the process, because of the sort of the challenges that like that come from trying to take something this huge and something this something like of this magnitude to market.
Excellent. Well, Jimmy, thank you so very much. Jimmy Chin, everybody, creator of Playtable and Prizm Labs.
Yes,
Prizm Labs. Okay, creator of Playtable and owner, I'm going to say, of Prizm Labs. CEO. There you go. CEO of Prizm Labs. Come check him out. It's booth 1749, right? 1749, Gen Con 2016. You guys check them out. Get you a chance to demo this Playtable device. It is absolutely fantastic. You guys will love it. I'm Crazy Chris, coming to you from Geek Public Radio. You guys have a good day.